The engine's assembled now, so I'll set it aside along with the motor mounts and start on the frame next. The first thing that I'm going to install in the frame would be the wiring harness. And the frame, by the way, is upside down. It stands up that way, and it'll make easy access for the wiring harness. Okay, here's the wiring harness, and notice one end has a brown and green wire. That goes to the back where the taillight is, to the taillight. And there's a rubber grommet here. When I took it off, I pushed it through. Alright, there's another wire here with has a black and a green wire. This will go to your coil, and it also has a grommet on it. And it'll go through the hole on the right-hand side of the frame. Okay, these go under the frame, and there's some places where some connectors where they connect on. This is where this is your CDI, and this is a connector from the pulse generator. And the other end of the wire has these 4 wires on it: yellow, brown, black, and green. And they'll go out, come out of the side of the frame right here. Here's another grommet, or whatever it's called, wire protector, and it goes in the front there where the cable comes out by the neck. Now we're ready to install the rear wheel bearings, and they're located in this bearing carrier. We have a seal here, bearings, then there's a tube or spacer inside, then there's the other bearing and another seal on this side. And this part that protrudes here is for the brakes. And we're going to stick that through this hole here in the top, and then we'll swing the carrier down. I'll go ahead and do it here. Alright, now we'll put the side panel on, and it'll go on this way. This is the one for the left side, and it'll go so that these 2 screws are facing inward. And we'll put these 3 long bolts with a washer through there to hold them on. Alright, now we're ready for the other side plate. And it'll go this way with the bolt facing inward. And then we'll put the larger washer, lock washer, and nut on. 3 of them. Now we're going to install the brake actuating mechanism. Well, it consists of this cam here, a felt washer, a metal washer, and this lever, and a nut and bolt. So we're going to put the cam and the felt washer on first. Okay, you notice the splines don't go all the way around. There's a flat part here in the middle, at the top, and so you can only put the brake actuating lever on one way. The flat part goes in this crack here. So when we put it on, we're in a problem where this flat part is up and the brake lever is down. Remember, the frame's upside down. Okay, so when we turn it over, the brake lever will be up. And you want to be sure to, when you get it in, be sure to stick it in all the way, because it might want to stop before it goes in all the way. Okay, we can put the brake shoes on now. And to do that, you put the springs on first, and then you just kind of muscle them on there. Now we're ready to put the sprocket in the sprocket covers. Okay, we have these 4 rubber dampers, and they go in here like this. Okay. Okay, then they go in the cover. This ring goes on, and the other side. And we have 4 little bolts, washers, and nuts. We'll put them on next. Alright, now we're going to put it on the axle. And it goes on the left side with the, I don't know if it makes any difference or not, but it had all the nuts were faced on the left to the outside. Okay, and we're going to secure it with these very strange looking bolts. Okay, the bolt is threaded for 2 different size nuts. We're going to use the large one now to secure it on, and it'll face the same way as the little ones. Okay, now that we've got everything cinched down here, we're ready to install the axle, and that'll go in from the left side, so we'll have to take all these parts on the right hand side off. Okay, and off the axle. Next, the brake drum. Might as well do that while I'm here. That'll go with these splines. Okay, and then the dust cover. There's supposed to be a gasket in here. I'll have to add that onto the list of parts I don't have. I must have destroyed it when I took it off. Well, I'm going to bolt it up now anyway. You'll notice that there are 5 of these little bolts and washers, and there's 6 holes in the dust cover. Well, that's because one of them is a long bolt, and it goes through the muffler. So we won't be able to put that one on until much later. And it'll be the one that's over here, goes all the way through, and bolts into the other end of the frame. So that one we'll skip for now. And then we'll just put the other ones on. Another thing that's kind of funny is those holes are staggered, so they have to be turned the right way to get them all to line up. After the brake cover comes this smaller brake cover, and then the O-ring, and then these 2 large nuts. These nuts are on really tight. The inside one is like 25 to 30 foot-pounds, which is fairly tight, but the outside one is 90 to 100 foot-pounds. And from the factory they use Loctite on it, so you might want to put some Loctite on there too, just on the outer nut. And also you might want to wait till after the tires are on, or even the brakes, before you torque them, because that way you can keep the axle from turning. We can put the tires on now. The size is 22 by 11 by 8, both front and rear, and they're tubeless tires, although I see this one has a tube in it. You can tell by this nut here on the valve stem to keep it from falling in. Low pressure, something like 5 pounds, I think. Okay, these rims have 3 lug nuts. You'll see 6 bolts on there because the rims are split rims, and 3 of them hold the rims together. This is what the hub looks like. I'm not going to take the other tire apart, but here's another one. And these are the splines that go onto the axle. Here's half of one of the rims. Okay, it's real bad shape. It's all rusted up. But there's an O-ring, large O-ring that goes around here between the two sides to keep the air in. I like to attach the hub to the rim first and slide the whole assembly over the axle. And you secure it with a washer, this castle nut, and a cotter pin. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. The tires are on now, and I should have mentioned when I was talking about the rims is that there are some 4 lug hubs, and the rims will have 8 holes in them. They're split rims too. And the ATC 110s, they came out with them I think in '83 or '84, and they're interchangeable. You can put them on this one. The axle splines are the same, and they'll fit just fine. And there are some aftermarket rims too, made out of aluminum, so they won't rust, and they're one piece, so they'll hold air better. And some are drilled out for both 3 and 4 lug hubs. Also, if you have a '84, '85 ATC 110, you notice that the hub was different. That hub will float forward and backward a little bit, and that's what is used to adjust the chain tension, the drive chain tension. Okay, there's one more thing we need to do before we turn this frame back right side up again. Is we need to install this this catch for the seat and the rear fenders. Okay, so there's this bar here. There's a washer, and there's a little pin, retaining pin. And there's this spring that hooks onto the end like this. And I'll install it now, and I'll get a close-up so you can see how it goes on. Alright, there's the catch for the seat attached. That should be all we need to do on the bottom of the frame. So now we can turn it over, and the next step will be installing the front forks.